What people would expect if they came to Brighton is a beautiful suburb, leafy green, but the difference being to most other Melbourne suburbs is we're based on Port Phillip Bay. We're famous for our bathing boxes, which most people would come to Brighton to visit. Fantastic boutique shops, great restaurants, great cafes, but over and above that we have a great culture down here, a real village feel, especially in Church Street where my restaurant is based and I suppose offers everything that Melbourne does, but we have the water, which is different. My professional cooking career came from my mum. I worked through numerous restaurants throughout Australia and most of my career has been spent in the one restaurant I'm in now, which is 20 years later, the Pantry. In the 20 years we've evolved to being a restaurant that holds 120 people. We've become infamous or famous, whichever way you'd like to put it, is our Pantry cooking shows. We found so many customers constantly asking us questions about how to cook. What's it like in the kitchen? What's that bloke like? And I suppose watching television doesn't give you the real idea of what our industry is. So what we set out to do was expose the truth about our industry, which is like a sit-down cabaret dinner where we've featured some of the world's and most definitely Australia's greatest chefs. We've had Marco Pierre White, we've had Manu Fidel, we've had George Colombars, and one that is causing a storm all around Australia, Frank Camorra, the greatest of Spanish chefs around at the moment. What I want to share with you is a technique of cooking called sous vide. Now it's employed by all the best chefs and restaurants around the world, and the best thing now is you can do it at home. So today we're going to cook in the sous vide machine. I'm going to show you how easy it is to cook. I've got a 2 kilo piece of porterhouse there that's going to feed the whole family. And I've got an individual serve of Scotch fillet here, 200 grams. Both of those are going to be cooked in the sous vide machine perfectly. All right, so the first step to the recipe is we're going to season the meats. Pepper, salt, generous amount, salt. Simple recipe, slide into the bag. So this is the big one for the family, 2 kilo beef. Slide that into the bag. Now, you can do whatever you like with these. You can put marinades in there, you can put herbs in there. With the big one, we're going to put a bit of garlic in there for a bit of extra flavour. Throw that in the bag, maybe a little bit of thyme, a little bit of olive oil. That one's ready to go. And now we've got the Scotch fillet. We've got a 200 gram Scotch fillet in here, seasoned in the bag, olive oil, and ready for the vacuum sealer. Okay, so that's vacuum sealed now and ready for the sous vide machine. Now, if we were doing, say, 4 200 gram pieces, the beauty of this machine, it has a rack in there that'll hold them all up, so slide your steaks in as such. Today, we're only doing one of them because I just want to demonstrate that you can cook 2 different sizes of meat at the same time and end up with the perfect result with both. So we'll take the rack out. We've got our big 2 kilo piece of porterhouse here that's going to feed the whole family. Slide that into the machine. And also our 200 gram Scotch fillet. Just be careful if you're going to buy a machine that you make sure that it has a large capacity to take those big cuts of meat. So we're in there at 56 degrees. The big piece is going to take probably a couple of hours and the small one about 20 minutes. So we're 2 hours later, this 200 gram piece of Scotch fillet really only needed about 20 minutes. But the beauty of this machine is that it will not overcook your meat. And the other important fact to remember about sous vide cooking is that doing these beef in a vacuum bag will actually retain all the flavour of the beef or the chicken or the fish or whatever you're cooking. Now, from this point, what we like to do is just give the beef a really nice crusting that's going to give that caramelised flavour. Okay, so we're going to turn the steak over and sear the other side, and you can see those beautiful bar marks. So the beef's nearly seared. I actually did my mashed potato in the sous vide machine too, which is a really great way to go just to hold it. Now, let's cut the corner off that. A little bit of mashed potato, our perfectly seared piece of Scotch fillet, one slice through the middle. Look at that, perfectly cooked. Onto the plate, nice little bit of red wine jus and some onions. Bit of fresh thyme. Exactly how you get in a restaurant, but at home. So you can see now, we've got our 2 kilo piece of sirloin in there. I want it to be medium, so just cook it a little bit longer in the grill pan. Now while that finished off, I'm going to make a quick salad. So I've got some snake beans here, just tear them up, blanch simply. Some red capsicum, some spring onions. Now I wanted a little bit of an Asian feel on this one. Some fresh coriander, tear the top off that. And some Vietnamese mint. Stir that around. Secret dressing, just a little bit of that over the top. And as I said, you know, you can make this with anything you want. I've got a little bit of teriyaki, a little bit of oyster sauce, a little bit of sesame oil. That's our salad done. And remember, you've still not done a great deal here. So I'll set that aside. And our beef's ready to come out now. So I'm just going to take a couple of slices off here. And you can see once again, that is perfectly cooked. The beauty of these machines is you cannot overcook your meat. So you can just see how beautiful and tender that is. Got our Asian salad here, a little bit of that on the plate. 2 kilo Scotch fillet in the sous vide, can't fail. I have to have a piece. It just melts in your mouth, that is awesome.